Okay, welcome to my laptop for part 2 of the building of my layout, Forest in Teesdale. And what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to go through how I'm going to create a control panel so that I can operate the points and see where trains are using DCC. And to do this, you'll notice that I've got Panel Pro, JMRI Panel Pro on my laptop. Although I'm not running it on my laptop, it's running on a Raspberry Pi. What I'm going to do is fundamentally the same. So what we'll do is we'll start Panel Pro and we'll see what happens. And what it is going to probably do is it might bring up, right, no it's not. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to do a new panel. So we want a new layout editor. So we're going to do a new panel. So this is what you get. You get this, but there are a number of things that you have to do beforehand. So what we're going to do from here is we will change that and we will go to Tools and we will go to Tables, Turnouts. And what we need to do is we need to define the turnouts on our machine. Now what I've done is I have, if I just go back here and look at preferences before we go any further. If you notice here, it is a LocoNet simulator. Well, that means that I can actually do what I need to do on the laptop without actually having the equipment connected to it. Normally, if I was doing this for real, I would select this one, LocoNet Loco Buffer USB, because that is what connects to the DR5000, which I showed you in the first video. But if you're going to use that as the setting, you need the DR5000 connected to the machine, because it will say that there is no control unit attached to the laptop. So what we're going to do, we're going to use LocoNet Simulator and its Digitrax and bloody blah, everything that it is. And we'll just save that just to make sure. And then we'll go back and we will go to Turnouts. So we have the plan, and this is where a certain amount of pre-planning comes into effect. Now, I showed you the plan in video 1, and I'll get it to appear in a picture-in-picture as we're talking. On my layout, there are basically 7 point ends. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 point ends and 2 double slips. And to get all these to work, you need to define them before you start drawing anything. So what we will do is we will define them. So we'll select LocoNet and go down the bottom, add. And the hardware address, you can basically call it what you want, whatever the address that you want. It's got to be between 1 and 2048. I'll explain to you why you don't use the low addresses when we move on to the next step. You'll see why I'm not going to use the low address. So my first point is going to be at the hardware address of 800, and the username is turnout01 T01. And to save a bit of time, I'm going to add 7. So we're going to get 7. It says add a sequential range, and if I click on create, There we've got the 7. So it's done all the system addresses starting from 800 up to 806, and it's numbered them sequentially. So, and that's all you have to do. So we've created 7 point ends there. We just go and check edit. So you can put stuff in here if you want, but you don't need to at the moment. So now we need to create the slips. So the next vacant hardware address is 807, and we'll call it SL1A for 1 point end. Create. So that's done that. Add SL1B. Add SL2A. Create. And the last one, create. So now we have a list. There should be 11 entries for the 11 point ends. Of course, each double slip has 2 ends. So that's SL2B, 2A, 1B, 1A, and the points. So that's done. We'll go out of that, and we will go into tools again, and we will go into tables again, and we will look at sensors, because if you remember, I bought a DR4088, which is a detection module, and it always has this IS clock. You can't get rid of that. It does it. So the DR4088 has 16 detection modules on it, and the reason that I didn't use the low address is because you can only program the DR4088. It uses the low numbered LocoNet addresses. So the first module starts at hardware address 1 and goes to 16. So we'll do 1, and we will do, for the username, we'll call it Forest in Teesdale, FIT A, for track circuit A. And what we will do is we'll configure all 16 track circuits on the DR4088. Whether we use them or not, probably won't use them all, but this is a quicker way of doing it rather than putting them all in individually. So what this will do when I create, it should create 16 track circuit or track detection sensors starting at hardware address 1 on LocoNet. So we'll do that. Right, so we've got Forest in Teesdale A, Fit A, A1, etc. up to A15. And what we're going to do, we're going to edit these so that they make a bit more sense. So the second one is Forest in Teesdale B, and the third one is Forest in Teesdale C. Well, you get the picture. Just go down and rename them all whatever you want. You can call them what you want, but if you notice down here, these are the addresses. L stands for LocoNet, S is for sensor, and then these are the addresses after. When we get on to programming the DR4088, you will see that you program it like a set of points, but you have no control over the addresses that it uses on LocoNet. It will default, the first module will default to address 1, and because it's got 16 units in it, it's 1 to 16. So we'll just carry on doing these. Okay, so I've been through and I've renumbered all the usernames, and these are what will be used on the panel when the panel is drawn, and what they will be known as. If you notice that I've missed out I and O, it's because they look like the 1 and a 0. So to avoid potential confusion, I've not used I and O. So we'll go out of that and we will go to the drawing. Okay, so this is the drawing, and what we will do is we will make it a little bit smaller to start off with, and it is a grid, and there are various tools that you can use here. So what we're going to do is we are going to work from right to left on drawing. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to install the first set of points. So that's 0, 1 and 0, 2, and they are actually a right hand crossover. So you select the right hand crossover, you press shift and the left mouse button, and if you can see, it's installed it, a small icon on the screen, which is the crossover. And what you need to do now is you need to tell it what point you have used. So it is point number 1, and it is point number 1, and it is, well, we'll leave it as point number 1 for the moment. So we'll zoom in a bit more so you can see it. So there it is. It's point number 1. And if you go to it, you need to edit it. So you need to click on this, use two physical addresses. So it's turnout 1 and it is turnout 2. So if you click on done, and then we'll see if it actually works. Well, there you go. You click in the middle and the points change. Woohoo! So what we're going to do now is we're going to add some more points. So the next thing that we need to add is point number 3, which leads off the upline, and that is just a plain right hand turnout. And what we will do is we'll install it here. We'll change, so it's turnout 3, right hand point, and there it is. So what you can do is you can move it to line it up with the other one, and we'll just leave that for the moment. We'll leave the slips till last. So the next thing that we need to do is we can continue the upline and again we have a crossover, except this time it is a left-hand crossover. So what we will do is we will and it is a left-hand crossover. We'll install it here, and we will move it so that the plan is spread out a bit. So that's the left-hand crossover, and what we need to do is we need to edit it, and it's used two physical addresses if you remember, and it is number 4 and number 5. So I'll just check that's done and just check that it works, and that works. So we'll just check this one again, edit, and that is 0.3. So that's done. Install a right hand point here. Okay, so it's installed it upside down. So what we'll do is we'll just move it a little bit, and we will rotate it 180 degrees. So that's more like it. And finally, there is one last point, which is in effect a Y point, and this is up here somewhere. So again, we'll do that, and we'll needs to be TI7, and that needs to be rotated. We'll do it 180 degrees, so it's at least roughly facing the right way. That'll do. And we'll have another go at putting these slips in. So we'll put the double slip in. There's two double slips. There's one here, and there is one here. So we'll edit this one, edit, and that is SL2A and SL2B. This one is SL1A and SL1B. So you've created all those, and they will automatically pick up the hardware addresses. We'll just do that one. So if you notice, there's nothing left in the drop down list now. So all the points that you've configured in the first table, they're all gone. They've all been allocated, and so there's nothing left. So what we will do now is we will start connecting these up. So we need to rotate this one . Okay, so we've finally drawn what we wanted to draw. It's taken us a little bit longer, but you can see we've got the two crossovers, right hand and left hand, and three individual points and two double slips. The idea of the circle, obviously, if you click on the circle, it changes the points. So you can either do that with a mouse, or like as it would be on my one, it would be a touch screen. So you just touch in with your finger. So the next thing we need to do is we need to join the tracks up. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to add some buffer stops and edge connectors and anchor points. So these are the track nodes. So where the layout goes out into the fiddle yard, we are going to put an edge connector. So we'll just put an edge connector, we can line it up roughly. So the track goes out to the fiddle yard there, it goes out to the fiddle yard up here, so we'll just put another one up the top. And there are two tracks that disappear off to this side, so we need to put two over this side. So we'll put one here and we will put one here. And you do this because you've got to have somewhere for the track to have an origin. So, and another thing that we'll do, because this is American, they call it an end bumper, but it's a buffer stop, and although it is got a completely different name, it actually looks the same on the drawing. So we will put a buffer stop here, and we'll put a buffer stop here, and we'll put two over here. This siding slightly shorter, and we'll put one up here, and we will put two over here. So you're filling the drawing up with loads of pretty squares, and although they look the same, they fulfill different things. So the next thing we are going to do is we're going to start adding the track sections. So you go here and we're going to add a track section, a track segment, and it is a mainline track segment, and it's a block name and block sensors, and there's the list of the sensors that you've added. So we're going to call this A, and we're going to use that Forest in Teesdale A, and that will draw, and so it draws it quite thick. And what we're going to do is we want the track section to go through point 1. So we'll do that, and you can see it is filled the track section in through the points as well. And you just basically carry on doing this. So we'll do it again. It's another mainline segment. It's we'll call it B, and it's going to use the next section, and we'll just draw that in. You draw by holding the shift key down. and that's drawn the next track section. And what we will do is we will add we don't want B to go through this point. This is another set of points. So this will be another section. So what we'll do is we'll join these two bits up here, and we will do those as well. So it's another mainline track segment. We'll call it C, and it's track segment C, and that goes there, and that goes there. And like we did with the other one, what you want to do is you want to edit, and you do that. So it's added this one here, and you want to add it here. And everything is connected up now. Now what we're going to do is just check that we've done all this right. So you see this box here, it says highlight. So if we click next to that, and you can see that we have not done it right, because track circuit K has got two sections and this one is not supposed to have a track circuit. So we will edit it, and we will get rid of that. And you see now we've done it, it's disappeared. C, B, oh, that's why I didn't highlight. Let's try C again. C is correct, B is correct, and A is correct. So all we've got is we've got a little bit of a problem with L. So the next thing we'll do is we'll clean up the aesthetics a bit, and you can see that you can so we'll zoom in a little bit, and we will clean the diagrams up a bit. So to do that, you left click, and then you can drag the origin points. You don't have to worry too much about this. It's only for your own aesthetics, so that it looks reasonable when it's presented on the panel. So it doesn't do to be too worried about it, as long as it meets your criteria and you can actually put your fingers in the points to actually operate the sections. Okay, so I've sorted it all out, and all the sensors now are correct. So we'll just go through. This double slit is Q, P is the other double slit, M is that section, L is that section, K is that section, J is that section, H is that section, G, F, E, D, C, B and A. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're just going to check out that these are going to give you the correct indications. So we'll go create edit block, and what we want it to do is we want it to show up red when it is occupied, which it will do. And what we're going to do is we're going to change the track section so that it shows up as blue when it's not done. So take it out and you can see it's blue, and we're going to do that for all of them, and we will leave all the sidings and everything as black, but you can change them to whatever you like. You don't have to be done by convention, but that is it. So when this is converted to the touchscreen, as you can see, if you click within the circles where the points are, it changes the points. Now what you want it to do, so we've done the crossovers already because we installed them as crossovers, but these points that lead to double slips, you want to get them to work as well. So we'll do this one, edit, and you want it to also throw another turnout, and we'll try, I can't remember which way round it is, so we'll try SL1B to start off with and see what that does. And it's not done anything. Right, so we've got the wrong end, so we'll go back to this and we will edit it again, and it's SL1A that you need to throw. And you can see when you change this point, this changes, and when you change double slip, it also changes the point main line. So we'll do it the same for this one up here. Edit, also throw. Again, I can't remember which way round it is, and you want to throw it. And I didn't press done. And I've got this one the wrong way round as well. Done. Right, can you see it's throwing the right point but not in the right direction? So we'll go back to that and edit it again, and you see this box here, it says invert second turnout, so we'll do that, and this time you see this time it does it correctly. Okay, and that's just about it. So what we'll do is we will zoom out to what it looks like with no zoom, and that is pretty poor. You certainly not with my great big sausage fingers be able to operate that. So what we will do is we will scale translate, and that has made it twice the size. So that will fit quite nicely on our touchscreen with a bit of luck. And that is about it. When it's installed on the touchscreen and it is all working, touching in the circles will change the points. So there it is. There is the control panel for my Forest in Teesdale layout. This will only control the points and do the train location indications. I am not going to control the signals from JMRI because I'm going to use some megapoints controllers to do that instead. So this is the end of program 2. Thank you for watching, and watch out for some other programs coming soon.